Toei Animation definitely took their Wheaties, because not only was the latest One Piece episode absolutely amazing, this Dragon Ball Super episode was arguably the best episode of the entire Dragon Ball Super series thus far. Episode 27, I mean, the art and animation was almost always on point in this episode, and I mean, just from beginning to end, the changes that they made, making things more morbid and everything, like, they just did a fucking bang up job with this episode. Again, like, arguably the best episode of Dragon Ball Super thus far, making a huge turnaround. I mean, a huge one. Everybody was shitting on Dragon Ball Super last week. This week, you can do nothing but praise this episode, because what they did, Toei Animation, good shit. So let's start off with Sorbet getting Shrek'd. Like, Sorbet got fucked up. I mean, don't get me wrong, to be honest with you, Sorbet, to me, is one of the greatest jokes of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super, you know, the franchise in general, because dude is kind of like on some Dio Brando shit. Just imagine you thought it was Dio Brando, but it was really me, Sorbet! Just think about it for a second. This small motherfucker was able to take out Goku with a little ray gun. Like, Sorbet, you a troll king, bro. But he got Shrek'd and fucking owned like a motherfucker from Vegeta, and like the small changes that they made of Vegeta kicking Goku's body and then kicking the blast and fucking owning the shit out of Sorbet quickly like that. Like, poor Sorbet. R.I.P. Sorbet. You will be Mr. Sorbet fucking pirates. Holy shit, this ain't One Piece. You will be missed, Sorbet. Godspeed. Nah, I'm just kidding. Fuck off. I hope you rot in hell. And then the carnage. Toei Animation was on a mission with this one, because Vegeta was just pounding the living shit out of Frieza, and the art and animation for that, especially the animation, it was just non-stop. Like, Frieza took a non-stop ass beating for minutes on end. Vegeta just kept on punching him in the face, and it honestly felt like full circle coming around of Vegeta's hatred for this motherfucker, because you gotta think about it for a second. Like, this dude was enslaved, his father was killed, his homeland destroyed, his title Prince of Saiyans, he's a prince of basically like Goku and a couple of half, you know, breeds or whatever. Like, he ain't really prince of shit. So that was everything that he's ever had to suffer that was at the hands of Frieza coming into one, and him just pounding the shit out of Frieza, kicking him, punching him. Like, Frieza took a fucking ass whipping, and Toei went even harder with this than they went in the movie, because in Resurrection of F, he gave him a little bit of an ass whipping, but it was pretty quick. This one was just minutes on end. Fuck you, Frieza. Fuck you, Frieza. And I loved it. Like, it really showed the badassery of Vegeta and how he's a completely different animal from Goku. Goku, like, yeah, you're gonna have a fight and he might kick ass or whatever, but Vegeta's was just savage and just like, fucking die, bitch. Ugh. And I know a lot of people are gonna argue with this one at this particular point that he did a better job kicking Frieza's ass than Goku, but you gotta keep in mind that Frieza at this point was already at his limit. Like, he had a certain amount of time that he could be in golden form without losing it or whatever, and without slowing down. Now, once Vegeta stepped in, he was already at that limit. So to be fair, Goku was fighting him at his peak. Vegeta's fighting him when he's already on a downslide and a decline, so to speak, in his strength and stamina. And the scene of Frieza blowing up Earth, hands down, way better in the anime than the movie. Like, hands down. I mean, the morbid fucking despair, the tragic feeling of having to see Pan and Videl in like this cutesy moment, and Marin and 18, Goten and Trunks right before the explosion goes off. Like, Chi-Chi, fuck you, turn into an egg and die, I don't give a fuck. But like, everyone else, I was just like, this is so sad. Like, they outdid the movie with that scene, hands down, hands down. And that's really tough to say about Dragon Ball Super nowadays with some of these adaptation arcs, but like, that scene right there, definitely the anime nailed it much better than the movie. And let's talk about Goku's development for a moment. I mean, it happened in the movie, and it happened in the anime as well. Him realizing he cannot always be some, you know, symbol of justice, so to speak, even letting his villains live on. And that was one of the big lessons that he had to ultimately learn. Whis was trying to teach them, because Whis had one lesson each for Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta, you need to calm down and stop being so crazy and letting your anger cloud yourself, because that's what's fucking you up from passing Goku. With Goku, it was, you gotta stop being so lax and like, you know, just constantly, yeah, go ahead, you know, and letting your guard down, because look what happened. The Earth got fucking Shrek'd. And there's two important things that you gotta know about Vegeta real quick in this episode, because this is the first time we got to see Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue with Vegeta. Looked amazing, by the way, in the anime as well. Like, the movie and anime both look good. Probably the movie looked better in a way, but to be honest with you, I really like the way they did it in the anime. Two things to know. For starters, in the movie, I think it was a little bit different, but in the anime, he said this is even greater or something better than Legendary Super Saiyan. I think it was a little bit different in the movie. But the main thing to keep in mind right here is what Goku said, that he was able to achieve this without any help, opposed to Goku. Remember, he needed that whole big power-up thing or whatever. So what was it? I really hope we someday get an explanation as to how they achieved this power. I hope it doesn't go like Super Saiyan 3, where we really didn't get a full-on, you know, explanation on how to achieve it, because this is something huge. But definitely two things to note, and that's something that the argument of Vegeta versus Goku is going to be stirred up with. Okay, that was kind of fucked up doing Piccolo's revival off screen. I'm just saying, like, you know, that was a big death, like, but then again, at this point in Dragon Ball, you know, storyline or whatever, like, death really isn't as big as it should be. But the ending, though, as awesome as this episode was, for me, I was just like, yes, yes, yes. Resurrection of Ultimate Gohan, baby. When Gohan went up to Piccolo and the development that he had, which he was a piece of shit character, but this development, I hope it goes a long way. I hope it's not just, you know, let's just throw it in there for the sake of it and never touch back on it. When he went to Piccolo, I need you to train me. I understand now that I can't be sitting back while my family is dying and shit like that. I need to be able to protect them. Yes, when he hugged Pan and Videl and everything, that was showing full-on character development. Now let's see it go through. Let's see him train, and let's see some sort of threat come to Earth, and Gohan has to stop it, because this is the moment right here. Like, ooh, we can get some great redemption, and I could go from being like, fuck Gohan, to my dude is back, my boy, the realest motherfucker, Gohan, baby. Only major complaint, which is from the source material of the movie, is the whole rewind thing with Whis using the rewind time shit, which kind of feels like a Deus Ex Machina, so, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it is a Deus Ex Machina, so that's probably the only complaint. But aside from that, I mean, just phenomenal. Great episode. Anywhere from a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. Couple little nitpicks here or there, but just amazing episode. Fucking Toei Animation brought their A game this week with One Piece and Dragon Ball Super, and I'm so happy. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. How did you feel about Vegeta pounding on Frieza? What did you think about that line with Gohan telling Piccolo, I want to train? Did you feel the death of everybody on Earth and the explosion was done better in the anime than the movie? And your overall thoughts of this episode. Was it the best episode of Dragon Ball Super thus far? Ain't overall thoughts, but thanks for watching. If you enjoyed anything about this video, make sure to drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. We might be getting the resurrection of Mystic Gohan, and I'm so fucking hyped right now, baby. Peace.